Bill, appreciate the chance this afternoon to spend some time with you to discuss Magline and where the company's going, talk about the building out of the route sales representative positions as the economy reopens here. And I know a lot of people who will be taking a look at this video are indeed familiar with Magline and Magline products, but there'll be some that aren't as familiar. So just kind of give us an overview of what's a Magliner, who is Magline as a company, if you would please, to get us started.
Absolutely, Skip. Nice to be here with you today. So Magline was founded in 1947. We are a privately held firm that is second generation run. Is second generation son is the CEO with third generation involvement. It's a professionally managed company by an executive management group. We have a legacy of magnesium/aluminum material handling equipment that was founded on basically a hand truck. How do you move a product from point A to point B on a hand truck? And throughout our existence, many different products were ideated and created, from government work with aluminum type tents, aluminum type structures for the military, snowmobile trailers, believe it or not, snowshoes. And the path basically led down to ultimately material handling equipment. And that has evolved from the simple two-wheeled hand truck to a convertible Gemini, as it's known, as our name knows it, to much more sophisticated and now powered equipment that performs light duty lifting. And so our portfolio has continued to evolve. And we foresee it doing as the challenges get more complex in the industry, across industries, and the need for our products becomes broader. In addition to that, our channels have evolved, and we've gone from being specifically a company that sells through affiliated dealers that are authorized to sell and represent our product to e-commerce, industrial catalogs, and direct sales, including Magline Fleet Services, which is our mobile sales and service division.
And I've had the privilege of working with Magline now for about 2.5 years at the point we're having this conversation. And over this time, a lot of growth. And now that the economy is opening back up, I know last year was stagnation. Fortunately, from what you've shared with me, Magline was in a position to just be able to tread water and weather the storm, so to speak. And now we're ready to move forward again. So we'll be hiring for various positions in the months ahead. So here again, at the point of this video, it's March 2021. We see the economy beginning to open back up. Things are already taken off. And hospitality is beginning to get some footing underneath it again. So tell us where you see things going here in the next 12 months. And then for people who might view this a year from now, kind of walk us out maybe 24 months, at least from your crystal ball, where it is right now.
Sure, Skip. Great questions. So primarily, we took a hit and went through some difficult periods like everybody else over the last 12 months. Certainly as dining out contracted and socialization, sporting events contracted, that impacts a core of the base of our business in food service, soft drink, beer, et cetera. That being said, that's kind of a micro picture. On a macro picture, through a larger lens, we've seen some big investment through our partners, our traditional partners in food service and soft drink, where their bigger projects, the scope of what they're looking to do has continued, and in some places accelerated a little bit to our surprise, where we thought we may see some contraction and pullback in the short term. Quite honestly, there's been places where the demand for rapid delivery from us on new products, having built and delivered them to the locations of need, has become accelerated, and that's a good indicator, because that's telling us that The companies in which we partner with have a clear vision that this will become a thing of the past and we will open up. And so while pockets of our organization and our company overall have taken a step back, I think because we're well run and well positioned to take a hit, we're also well positioned to accelerate as the economy comes back online. So different channels perform differently in response to that, but in totality, Magline's well suited for this year and beyond. And I think because the material handling industries in which we serve become more and more challenging and broader in scope. An example would be, where we move boxes on one day. Tomorrow, literally, we were involved in moving heavy duty oxygen tanks into hospitals during COVID. You see our products moving the vaccine in different arenas. So, our footprint broadens all the time. That's a positive for us.
Well, so that gives anybody who's in a route sales role ample opportunity to call on many different types of companies and facilities. So in thinking about that, I'd like to go back to one of the discussions you and I had a couple of years ago when we first started working together. And that is the way route sales, fleet services, if you will, came about. That we know a lot of the competitors, they're in an automobile and they drive up to a company, warehouse, supply center example, and they go make a traditional sales call. Then they hop back in their automobile and drive away. And here, Magline, we show up in a truck. We show up with product. We show up ready to do business. So kind of walk us through that journey of how fleet services came about. And then we'll kind of go into the mechanics of this route sales role and how it operates on a day-by-day basis. But kind of give us the genesis of this.
Sure, Skip. So originally, as I alluded to earlier, our go-to-market strategy went through affiliated dealers that were authorized to sell our products. You had Magline, who brought it in to different degrees. They were mom and pops. They were legacy dealers, material handling companies, all different varieties in different locations throughout the state and indeed the world. In the early 2000s, that market was contracting. So through financial pressures, through generational change, through different philosophical spirit, a multitude of reasons intersected with Magline is contracting through our traditional distribution means. How do we broaden our footprint and in doing so create more direct ownership to what happens with the facilitation of our products getting to customers? So one of the concepts the ownership group undertook was a kind of a micro project. It started in Florida with one of the owners literally buying a van and working out of his residence in Florida and going door to door selling hand trucks and material handling equipment. And that expanded into the southern states of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And is kind of a separate incubation model. Long story short, from the mid 2000s until 2021, it's all come under one roof, and we've expanded into what is currently now 15 fleet service vehicles, as is demonstrated in the picture, serving most of the major metropolitan cities in the United States. We cover the two coasts, some of the major metropolitan centers in the center of the country, and ever expanding. And this model has proven very durable, and it gives that element of kind of concierge service where we come to your door. Not only do our competitors maybe go out in a car if you're lucky, but oftentimes they don't have anything beyond a telephone, email, virtual. They don't do the hands-on direct selling in many cases. Obviously, there's exceptions to all of that. But what this has provided us is a gateway to understand what the challenges of our customers and our product users are on a day-to-day basis. What do they experience? What are their success points? What are their struggles? And in turn, be able to create and design products that will meet those needs along with servicing them in their day-to-day challenges.
So when a route sales representative begins their week on a Monday, they go out, they get in the truck, and kind of walk us through what a typical week looks like. And in that, what are the types of businesses that they will call on? Who are the people within a business who would be call points that they would go see?
Sure. So we really view this as a position for someone with an entrepreneurial spirit. So we provide the vehicle, the assets, the equipment, the hardware, software. We really put a lot into what does a sales technician need to complete a successful day, week, year with Magline. And that starts with your Monday morning getting in your vehicle. You know, our vehicles are mostly within 4 to 5 years old. It's the latest design internally that really helps facilitate a productive day. We have most territories divided into 4-week routes. And in each one of those routes, you'll spend the duration of that week calling on established customers that we have, and also prospecting on potential accounts and businesses that we don't have, but that we'd like to. So this is going in and meeting with the point of contact. That may be a fleet mechanic. It may be an operations manager, director. It could be a VP of operations. It really runs the gamut from location to location. And our primary book of business is food service, soft drink, beer, bottled water, dairy, but we really cascade into everything from package delivery, paper companies, anything where there's an opportunity to move a product from point A to point B. And the depth of who we call on varies greatly from location to location. So in Florida, there's a heavy tourism business. In the Northeast, there's ski business. So again, there's different dynamics based on where you're located, but facilitating and representing our entire book of business, so our catalog. Each person that we hire for fleet services can represent this entire catalog, with the exception of 2 products that are a consultative sell, that we have a different division that facilitates those sales. So the opportunity is very large, product-wise and territory-wise.
So when a route sales representative calls on a company, and again, a lot of people who are familiar with Magliner know how durable and lightweight a Magliner is. Also, it's often more expensive than the competition. So what's the value added package, if you will? How does a sales representative break down that objection of, hey, Magliners are good, but they cost too much? Kind of share with us some thoughts on that.
Sure, Skip. And oftentimes I think, and I've heard this from individuals, where Magline is the Cadillac of the industry, but also priced like that. And that's a little bit of a misnomer. We are the premier product in the industry at a competitive price. So if you were to look at some of our immediate competitors, we're very comparably priced to that niche, to that market. If you look at offshore imports that are coming in, yes, we're going to be more expensive than that. But with that comes a heavy duty industrial unit that is made for the day-to-day rigors of usage, be it route services, food delivery, whatever is going to impact that unit, it'll hold up. Our products are completely modular, so they're replaceable. The parts are replaceable, be it wheels, tires, the noses, handles. It lends to a life cycle of product that sometimes outlasts a tractor or a trailer. It's kind of unique in the industry. On board our fleet services vehicles, we have the entire complement of tools and parts to service and repair, as well as new products in which we can sell, demo to a customer that might want to kick the tires, figuratively, see what we have to offer. We can leave a product with them to try. We also have the ability to ship from our headquarters and our manufacturing center in Michigan. So there's a whole complexity of goods and services that we offer that this fleet services division and the sales technician that operates this vehicle can represent. So the creativity and the ability to manage multiple opportunities in different directions, that really facilitates a successful person.
I know when many years ago when I first got into sales and I was learning various sales techniques, I was taught early on something called the puppy dog close. And the idea there is when, say, parents and a child go into a pet store and the child wants a dog and puppy, and parents are saying, no, no, no. And then the pet store owner just says, well, here, just take it home for the night. And if you don't like the puppy, bring them back tomorrow. Well, of course, we know in that case, the puppy never comes back. They always buy it. And I know a few of the sales reps that I've had the privilege of placing within Magline who've been very successful, have used techniques like that where they've come out, they've gone in, talked to someone, listened to what their needs are. Then they've come back out to the truck, taken the components that are available and put together a hand truck that would address the needs that that client had, and would go back in and take it and go kind of same thing. Hey, I just heard what you said. Give this a try for a month, no obligation. And next month when I come back through, I'll pick it back up from you if you don't like it. And I know a couple of people have had tremendous success kind of using the puppy dog clothes with the resources available in the Magline truck. So I think creativity and kind of the cliche of the sky's the limit is truly true here. Just kind of want to get your take on that.
I would say that's accurate. I've never heard it phrased that way, but I think that hits the bullseye, Skip. Believe it or not, there's instances where we can cold call on an account, and a cold call is a very powerful tool for us. If we can get a contact name, a contact email or phone number, that is a step one, and it facilitates us reaching out. And we kind of joke internally, we may not get it today, but we will get it. We will get the account because we offer such a package of goods and services where there's been instances where we'll meet with a point of contact and they'll be just like, oh my gosh, your timing couldn't be better. They are so overwhelmed, they're shorthanded, their equipment is broken down. You can repair all this and I don't have to take it anywhere, and you're coming here, and it like checks all the boxes for them. Mm-hmm. Complement that with some programs that we can put in place, and we become a one-stop shop where once we're embedded, and if we're doing the job we're supposed to be doing with the attention to detail, the referencing of our product, paying close attention to what the needs are individually, boy, we're a tough company to dislodge once we're in there. And normally the sales will continue to grow as the dependence upon us and the recognition that we offer something different is embedded with that customer. And then along the way, it gives us the opportunity to continue to introduce new products, because to your earlier point, sometimes it's not showing a customer or a prospect an apples to apples product in our version. It's showing them something completely different that they've never seen before. And you've just taken that customer from a struggle situation to one that solves a problem that perhaps they didn't even know they had, but checks a box that was lingering out there and puts them in a place of ease. And that also solves issues that you don't even know existed until you walk through a door.
So in listening to what you shared with me, curiosity, that is definitely one of the keys to success in the route sales role, is just when you go in and after you have the warm up and build rapport with the person, just that spirit of curiosity to ask questions uncovers so many things. So a person, like we're talking about, you look at your territory kind of in a 30-day cycle, and you hop in the truck on Monday morning and you go out to in a certain direction and hit cities and work your way back home. So you're spending a lot of hours in the truck. And I know you personally have taken a lot of pride in building this truck out to make sure that the person driving it doesn't feel beat up by the time they get to that first sales call. Kind of tell us a little bit more about the truck and its features, and since somebody's going to be spending so many hours of their life in this thing.
Absolutely, Skip. And we that we try to look at the position in totality and say, how can we make the role continually better? And so one of the early elements of this was when we literally had a van and a trailer and you were climbing in and out of the vans. How do we make that easier? And we went through a couple of different versions. One of the suggested topics that kept coming up was the typical UPS style or FedEx style truck with a sliding door. That's the model to go with. And I just didn't see it that way, as much as there were suppliers that wanted to put us in that vehicle. It's just a bouncy seat, and it's not user friendly. What I was looking for was a vehicle that, to your earlier example, you could get out and not feel beat up, that was functional, that handled well, that had an accessible back to it if you wanted to work in it, or you can not work in it, whatever was best for the individual. We wanted to give them the opportunity to have a setup and a system that was conducive to being productive and provide some comfort. So this unit, most of our vehicles are Ram 5500 trucks. Like I said, they're 4 or 5 years at the oldest. We're constantly replacing. It has a sliding side door that you can go in and draw parts and equipment off of. Some sales techs work right in the vehicle if they'd like. Everything has backup cameras. All the trucks have all the amenities that you need, that you would expect in a high-end vehicle of an industrial type, air conditioning and power steering, and they're good trucks. They're comfortable to drive. We invest in DeWalt tools. Everything is lithium batteries, so you're not dragging cords around. But the hardware is constantly being updated. Software, we're actually looking to invest in a new program. It was supposed to be a 2020 program. It looks like it'll be a 2021 initiative, just because of the delays from COVID. So in totality, if you want a tent to work under, we have some individuals that want a pop-up tent so they can work outside their truck. This role is really designed for somebody who has a passion for working independently. I don't want to be in an office. I don't want to be punching a clock. I want to work independently and kind of drive my own business in a sense. And this provides that. We look at the opportunities in front of us to say, how can we best serve a customer? And when I think of an ideal sales technician, it's that person that has great communication skills, can represent the brand with integrity. We don't have to have individuals that come from material handling background. We can teach Magline. We just have to have individuals that have a core competency to be successful and represent our brand. We have a clothing allowance, for example, that allows you to pick out what styles of clothes you wear. So if it's a golf shirt in the summer, if you want to wear fleece vest in the winter, we allow tailored shorts in the summer as well for those who choose. But it's not a uniform with your name on it. It's not set up like that. It's much more, forward thinking. So if you do run into the opportunity to sell at a high level to an executive, you feel like you can do that. You feel equipped both personally and professionally, and at the same time, you're able to repair equipment on the road. So it's kind of a group of skills that are unique, but when they all come together for the right person, the individuals that are with us, I think they find a lot of satisfaction in the position.
And I think you answered the very next question I was going to be inquiring about, and that is, what are the soft skills from your years of experience that a person should have to be successful in this role? And you just shared a lot of that with us. So kind of to summarize, that entrepreneurial spirit, they don't want to be in an office, but they want to get out. So we would say that person is probably generally extroverted. You manage your own territory, so you have to have good planning and organizational skills and time management skills. Writing skills, I know that's important, because one of the very successful representatives told me, he said, Skip, what I do is after I've made my calls that night in my hotel room, I follow up with a quick thank you email to everyone. And then I'm already starting to send emails to the people I will be visiting the next week. So he said, this way, everybody gets at minimum three touch points a month. The visit, that where hopefully I saw them. With COVID, maybe that's been a little bit more restrictive, but the visit, then the follow up email or note, and then the week before you see somebody, hey, I'll be coming by next Wednesday or whatever. Is there anything I can bring you? Anything you need? So that writing skill, that organizational skill to keep kind of in order who you've seen, who you're going to be seeing. And I know that one person was telling me just that structure of having those 3 touch points per month has done wonders for keeping mind share, if you will, with the customers and driving business. So with that in mind, let's say it's 1 year from now. A person gets hired. They've now been in this role 12 months. It's time for their annual performance review. What is it that this person will have had to have done and accomplished over this 12-month period for you and their direct boss to be able to say, yes, I made a good hire?
Interesting question. I think, first of all, the onboarding process, we'll touch on that a little bit to say we're heavily invested in these hires by the equipment that we purchase, by the professionalism of the recruiter that we retain to represent the company and you, Skip, the diligence we place into finding the people that we feel are right for Magline, and in the same sense, we want to be right for those candidates. If we've made the right hire, the acclimation process will come kind of in stages. I mean, it's a lot to learn. It's a new company to get acclimated with and digest all the functionalities of. But if you're on the right path at that 1 year mark, a lot of independence will have transpired where you'll feel like I'm on my own. I get this. I'm learning every day. There's always something new to learn, but I feel confident in calling on customers that we have. I feel confident in prospecting. I can represent the brand well. I know who to call when I have a question or a problem. And gosh knows, I call my team on a weekly basis with questions. Geez, I haven't seen this. Can you help me with this? It's the nature of the industry that we serve, that there's always going to be a question, and there's plenty of resources to answer those questions. But I think of one of your recent placements with us, he's about 14 months in, and he's just turning into an all-star. I happened to be with him in a project 2 weeks ago, and the confidence, the aptitude, the intelligence, the customer relations, I got this. He just leaves you with a sense of security that no matter what he runs into, he'll either know it or he'll know how to get the answer. You feel secure with the customer being in this person's hands. Not only is it important for me that the individual we hires is successful, but we want them to be comfortable and enjoying their role. You know, we put a lot of time into our careers as humans. You want to go to work and say, geez, I like this. This gives me the reward I'm looking for. I don't feel like I'm chained here. I feel like I get something out of this every day. And certainly there's the ebb and flow. There's ups and downs between every career that everybody goes through. But in the totality, we want to give you a career that you can participate in, be successful, and feel like you belong to a company that values you and appreciates the growth that you're going through individually and as we grow as a company.
And that's excellent. And I think here, as we wrap this up, something that's meaningful and important, of course, is income. And so in addition to the solid base salary, and by the way, this may not be true with everyone, but I know one of the representatives that I placed has told us both that the fact that I'm on the road and I'm not driving my own vehicle, so I'm not using gas, the meals are paid for by the company. I'm saving $400 or $500 a month just right there by not having to buy groceries at home and everything. So that's real dollars in one's pocket, but that's kind of a secondary benefit. So we have salary, we have the secondary benefits such as that, but there is the commission opportunity. Kind of just highlight a little bit of that for us in conclusion here.
Absolutely. So, like I said, that the territory in which this individual will facilitate and manage, with the exception of our partner dealers who may have some business, the territory is this individual's to grow. And you can represent everything in our catalog except those couple of items that I shared, and those details will come secondary. But the opportunity to be in front of customers, prospects, is huge, and everything you sell you're commissioned on, and there's stages of commission as you accelerate that also accelerate with that. To Skip's earlier point, this is a role in which we wanted somebody to feel, boy, I can come in this. It's not like I gotta, we don't expect you to put anything into this financially. This is not something where, okay, you're going to finance half and we're going to. You get the vehicle, you get a corporate credit card that goes with it that covers all the truck maintenance, tires, fuel, oil changes. If you have a location at your home or you don't, if you can store the truck at your home, wonderful. If you don't, you're not allowed to because of local or regional rules. We will pay for storage for the vehicle. You just simply go to it's a safe storage facility, high security. You leave your car on Monday and you take the truck out. We cover that. We cover meals, hotels. You get an annual clothing allowance, all the tools you need, travel for training. So this is not an out-of-pocket job where you have to put forth X number of dollars to become part of Magline. We work very hard to have a welcoming, all inviting culture where you feel you're really a part of an organization. And again, for the right individual that can feel this is the right opportunity and wants to step in another direction with their career, we think we're a good landing spot, and we look to partner with that person.
And to your point, and I had forgotten about this until as you went over some of the things, 4 or 5 years ago, I recruited for a short period of time for a company, and then I didn't want to recruit for them anymore because one of the things they did was some of the very things you mentioned. They expected the representative to foot the bill themselves. And so in a way, the representative had to somewhat invest in their own job, if you will. And the company's attitude was, well, it's sort of like they're an entrepreneur. We expect them to have some skin in the game. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. We have to supply the resources, the tools, and incentivize this person to want to do a good job. Now, what this person is bringing to the table and their skin in the game is their time, their energy. A person is bringing their life to a job. And so that's what they're bringing. And then we're in return giving them these things. And again, just going back to the first representative I placed with Magline a couple years, 2.5 years ago now, he has made a fantastic income. Yeah, it takes a year to really get ramped up. I don't want to oversell this thing to anybody. You got to come in. You got to become known by your marketplace. They have to trust you. They have to like you. And ultimately, they will begin to buy from you. And that does take a period of time to ramp up. But by year 2, somebody ought to be making a superb income. And by year 4 or 5, like the gentleman down in Florida, if you're not up in the high 5 figures, especially now with the economy coming back, again, not year 1, not year 2, but year 4, year 5, there is that opportunity for somebody to achieve that. And there's so many jobs out there where you can never achieve that opportunity financially. So anything that I said there that maybe isn't quite right, or anything you want to add to that, because I want people to know this is truly, this is a great opportunity from a career viewpoint, from the company support, and from a financial viewpoint.
I think when I look at the role, our goal is to provide everybody with a base income where you're going to get a check every 2 weeks, so you know, okay, my power is paid, my rent is paid, or my mortgage, I have food on the table. It's the necessities that are covered. So in the event of a COVID situation, or in this case, now we've had two between the financial crisis of 08, 09 and into 2010, and now COVID, those were two lifetime events where in my organization, this is one of the divisions that I oversee, Fleet Services, we have never laid off anybody through those two
Mhm.
situations. Quite honestly, we've continued to hire during this COVID, although we definitely took a step back, a hard step back, and our sales were way off. We got creative and we continue to push forward. So I think stability is one of the biggest things that this job affords. The ability to increase commissions and make more money above the base is really incumbent upon the individual. And I find that there's two variants of that individual. Either somebody that is looking for, boy, I get a base salary and that's all I need and I'm comfortable. That person probably isn't going to do well in this role, because the base is to make sure you're covered at home. The incentive or the commission is to grow the business, so you do make well above that base. And again, that will be incumbent upon this individual's desire to be in front of customers and show, these are all the products I have to offer. What can I sell you, basically? And I use this example repetitiously, depending on what the background of this person comes from. So I come from soft drink and beer and food service. I understand those. I acclimate very well to those industries. Along the way, I learned from other people. So one of my managers comes from the tire industry. He just knows tires. If he's comfortable selling in that space, we have products that'll move tires. So whatever this individual that joins us, whatever their background is, it could acclimate very easily to our products. So the fact that it may be different from what we normally sell to, as long as it aligns and as long as we can find a home for our equipment, we're all in. And being able to facilitate and propagate sales, continually pushing forward, that'll be what ignites the competition, the compensation portion of it. And that will vary from territory to territory, depending if it's established or if it's a startup. The base will be again solid enough so you know you're taken care of at home. The other end will come via effort from you, and then certainly support from us.
Well, Bill, this has been a fun conversation. One thing just dawned on me as we're concluding here, you are I'll phrase it this way. For the route sales representatives, they all report to a regional sales manager. Those regional sales managers report to you. So you're actually 1 degree removed from the actual manager that this person will report to. So I just wanted to make sure people who view our conversation here understand what where you fit into the organization. So as we conclude here, I just want to thank you. This has been a lot of fun. And is there anything in conclusion that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I guess I'd wrap up with Skip to say I've been here about 14 years with Magline. I'm on the executive team as a vice president. And have influence over culture and some of the company direction. And along with my boss who sets the course for the company, and along with the ownership group and my peers, I think we work very hard to make Magline an inviting, welcoming place to work. And we look to say, how do we do this every day and have some fun along the way? We're in putting it in context, we're selling wheels and we're selling equipment. And, we have a great base of customers in totality. I feel we have a great group of coworkers. I'm obviously I'm partial, but the team in Fleet Services, just a wonderful organization of people that certainly, Skip, you've helped us place. The managers that work for me are of the highest character, both very committed, and it's a pretty welcoming opportunity. If you want a different kind of a gig and you want to have some independence and find some camaraderie even through distance with the people you work for, I think this is an interesting role to consider. And some people come in here not knowing what to expect, and for the right person, I think they get a wow effect. Like, this is a good gig. I like what I do. And I think that there's people within our group that you could randomly pick and say, give me the details and the down low on Magline, and I think the endorsement would be pretty strong. So we welcome individuals that want to take a different path of a career, and always open to hearing what different people think and what they feel would be their strongest path to fit in with Magline and for us to fit their lifestyle.
All right, Bill. Hey, appreciate your time here. Like I mentioned, a lot of fun, and we'll talk
Thank you,
soon.
Skip.